Hey friends, welcome to United Compass Episode 9, where we're pointing Northeast Colorado to hope. We've begun a discussion the last couple of weeks on what the welcome of God looks like, on what his heart looks like toward all people. The Bible often refers to this as hospitality. What does it look like for God to have a heart that's open toward all people? Well, Jesus gives us a picture of this when he begins his earthly ministry in Nazareth, actually. He sits down in the synagogue, and the attendant hands him the scroll, and he unrolls it to a section of Isaiah 61 and glances a little bit back at Isaiah 58 as well, and gives us some real insight as to the heart of God. See, Jesus is the embodiment of God's welcome for all people. He makes it pretty clear when he says in Luke chapter 4, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives, recovery of sight to the blind, to set free the oppressed, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." That word favor, as Jesus speaks it, is the New Testament word that Luke uses all the way through, and several of the other writers use as well. The family is used for hospitality. It's used of welcoming and receiving people. Jesus is here to proclaim the year of Jubilee, the freedom to all, the year of God's welcome, of God's favor, and God's reception of all people to come to himself. Jesus is the embodiment of God's hospitality toward all people. And Jesus shows this welcome to people all throughout the New Testament. He does it again in Luke 19 to a little guy named Zacchaeus. And as he shows up to Zacchaeus' house, Zacchaeus is already converting, already following this Jesus by showing what he's going to do as he's giving back and helping and restoring what he has taken. And Jesus says something very significant. He says, "Today, salvation has come to this house." Simply through the act of hospitality, Jesus both being guest and host in Zacchaeus' case, God's welcome is opening to people. What does it look like for you and me to see the 418s in our midst? The people in our midst, the people who are poor and in captivity and blind and hurting and oppressed. Who are the 418s in our world? And then how will we 419 them? How will we embody Jesus' welcome toward others? We can't go into great detail today because our time is already running out. So we're going to do another episode of this later this week as we look at a parable that Jesus told, a story that Jesus told that gives us an insight as to how we are to show welcome to others. For today, will you reflect on who are the people in your life? Who are the 418ers? The people who are poor and oppressed and blind and captive that God might be calling you to show his hospitality to embody his hospitality to. Like Jesus, he wants us to do the same. Thanks for joining me today. Don't be afraid to check us out on the Crooked Pastor YouTube channel. Remember, as we show welcome to others and receive the welcome of God, we receive hope, because there is always hope. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for joining me.